بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا أما بعد. Respected elders and brothers and young students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of Iman. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of vision, and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of having a purpose in life. This is something a person may take granted for, but when you see people, like al-ashya'u tu'rafu bi-adadiha, you always figure things out when you see the opposites of it. When you want to know how much you have, look at those who don't have what you have, and you will appreciate. If we don't realize what the aspect of health, the aspect of security, aspect of peace, aspect of comfort is, look at people who do not have those blessings, and immediately we will come to realize what we have. And that's why we've been taught in hadith that in the matters of the deen, look at those who have more than us, so that we get desirous to have that. And in the matters of dunya, look at people who have less than us, so that we become thankful and appreciative for what we do have. Dear friends, this aspect of being ambitious and wanting to achieve more is such an important gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have to cultivate this gift even further, nurture it. But this should be in terms of our deen. That in terms of our deen, in terms of our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're always looking to see how we can go to the next step. And in the matters of the dunya, that doesn't mean we're not allowed to be concerned about trying to grow our business or improve our career. But let's not become ungrateful for what we have. There is a limit to our bandwidth that we have. There's 24 hours in our day. There's X amount of energy that we have every day to give. There's X amount of space in our brain. It's not unlimited. So our limited energy, with our limited mind, with our limited time every day, it needs to be distributed evenly, properly amongst things. We have to have our priorities set right. When we have our priorities set right, then we will be able to give each one their due right. What we're being taught in by the deen is that do not give so much emphasis to the amassing of wealth and to this temporary world that we end up missing out on giving that time, effort, energy to our deen. That's one of the beautiful du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. لا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا. لا تجعل الدنيا أكبر همنا. Oh Allah, do not make this dunya the biggest worry of mine. Do not make this dunya the biggest worry of mine. وَلَا مَبْلَغَ عِلْمِنَا. Do not make it the extent of my knowledge. That in the matters of dunya, I know everything. But don't ask me anything outside of that. Whether it's sports, I'll know all the stats. When it comes to business, I'll know all the prices of the various stocks. When it comes to IT, everything and beyond and around it. Person is expert, but as soon as you shift over to ask him a very basic concept of the seerah, a person says, I don't know the answer. Ask him a very basic mas'ala of fiqh about salah, zakat, things that are applicable to all of us. A person says, I don't know. A basic historical, biographical question about the companions. A person says, I don't know. So what happened? The dunya became the extent of his knowledge. The whole focus was on just amassing knowledge, beneficial or unbeneficial, useless, but just about dunya. And as soon as we come out of that discussion, a person says, I don't know. So this is something Rasulullah ﷺ taught us to seek refuge in Allah from. مَبْلَغَ عِلْمِنَا. Number 3, وَلَا غَايَةَ رَغْبَتِنَا. Allah, do not make the dunya the extent of our desire. That if you ask someone, what's your du'as? What do you wish? What do you desire? Where do you see yourself in, this is 2020, where do you see yourself in 2030? Where do you see yourself in 2025? Where do you see yourself at the end of this year? All the things he or she is listing to you is about the growth of business, growth of career, growth of investments, etc. But you say, what about the goals of the deen? He's not even mentioning that. Even for dua, he's not mentioning that this is something I'm trying to ask you to pray for me. That's an example of someone whose dunya has become the ghayat raghbatina, the height of their desire. There's beyond that, deen is not on that, doesn't make it to that list, the A list, doesn't make it there. Let's ask ourselves, when we're to someone to ask you, what's your dua that you want me to make for you? What are you going to tell them? Right? Someone is asking us, like, what's on our mind? What's stressing you out? What are the things that are stressing us out? What are the things that really, when we raise our hand after Maghrib, after Isha, or if Allah gives us tawfiq, tahajjud time, if we're going to ask Allah, what is that going to be? Right? Ask ourselves, what are those things? So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, this beautiful dua, he says, Allahumma la taj'al dunya akbar hammina. Allah, do not make dunya the biggest worry of mine. Wala mablagha ilmina, the extent of my knowledge. Wala ghayata raghbatina, and then the highest desirable thing in my life. وَلَا إِلَى النَّارِ مَصِيرَنَا, and a source and a means of me going to hellfire. 4 things. Seeking Allah's protection. And that do not allow this dunya to take up that real estate in my mind, in my heart. So we have limited real estate in the heart. Limited real estate in our mind. Limited time in our daily life. 24 hours. So we have to distribute these things based on its importance. For example, taking care of our lawn right now. There might be something that is not the best beautiful thing in your lawn right now. They require some time. Sweeping your backyard requires some time. Sweeping your porch requires some time. Okay. Cleaning the undercarriage of your car requires some time. These are all things that, yes, they need to be done. But how much time do we spend? When a person has, like his mother suffering at home, his wife crying at home, child needs to go to the hospital, and this person is spending 2, 3, 4 hours detailing his car in the garage, you're going to say this person's definitely got a couple screws loose. That's important to do that. But right now, there's nothing more important. You have to take care of your family members who are crying. They need to be taken to the hospital. Because he has allocated the precious time to something which is really not the most pressing issue right now, we will definitely walk away thinking there's something wrong with this person. So we all have this pressing issue. It might not just be someone crying or needs to be hospitalized. It's that the clock is ticking. And my death, your death, is imminent. It's the closest thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اقتربت الساعة. The day of judgment has come. It is near, very near. Allah says, أتى أمر الله. The decision of Allah, the order of Allah of the hour has come. فلا تستعجلوا. Don't try to bring it earlier than its time. Don't try to bring it earlier than its time. أتى, it's a past tense. It's already come. Done deal. What are you waiting for? Right? Start preparing. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, بُعِثُ أَنَا وَالسَّاعَ كَهَاتَيْنِ. I have been sent with the day of judgment like this too. Me and the day of judgment are like these 2 fingers. So if I'm here, that means the day of judgment is around the corner. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam is saying. So we have so many reasons for us to start thinking that we are in an urgent mode right now. We have to make the most. How many janazas have been from yesterday till today? From last year till now? So many people, subhanAllah, are getting sick. Just within this 24 hours, 2 of my colleagues' fathers have been rushed to the hospital, right, with strokes and whatnot. And may Allah grant them shifa. Right? It just takes a close family member, had an episode recently, completely fine, but all of a sudden suffered a very terrible allergic reaction in which I thought they weren't going to make it. Things are so bad. So quickly a person can lose his or her life. So quickly a person can lose their health for life. Brother went to go pick up someone from the airport yesterday. It's a family member. He went to go pick up a family member. Pushing the cart out to the car, a suitcase fell over, injured himself. He's now in the hospital with at least confirmed broken arm. And I don't know what other things. They're getting MRI tests done. Just like that. Went to go to the airport to pick up his relatives. Now he's hospitalized. SubhanAllah. So what we're seeing is that things are always changing. What we have right now, we might not have it in the next minute. We might not have it in the next minute. Look at how the scene of the world is happening within this past 2 days. All sorts, so much uncertainty. Look at what's happening overseas in countries that we never thought, Muslims would be suffering the way they are suffering right now. So there's a pressing need for us to reflect. There's a pressing need for us to start preparing. The urgency. You look at New York and Manhattan. You look in Chicago downtown. People are always running, right? Did you not notice that? Whenever you go there, they're always running. You never see someone walking down Manhattan unless he's maybe a tourist. You'll never see someone there with their suit and their briefcase just walking. No one walks. Everyone runs. Everyone runs. Because they say time is what? Money. Al-waqtu kadhab. Time is money. I gotta make it to the 12 o'clock meeting. And before that, before I get out of there, I got to plan for my 1 o'clock meeting. There's business travelers and the private jets. What's the whole purpose of it? Time. I got to make it. Why is it worth it for you to pay, $10,000, $12,000 an hour? Flying time, or more than that, maybe, I don't know, on a private jet. Because why? it will allow me to get to Chicago or Los Angeles or Las Vegas in a shorter period of time. I won't have to waste time in the airport, and I can get there rested. Why is it so important, but to save 2 hours? Because time is money. Time is money. If I can get into that meeting rested, I can negotiate a better deal and walk away with a better deal for my company. So that's why then these people who are doing these type of positions are getting paid hundreds of millions, because they are able to make their time valuable and make money with that time. Hence, the company pays them very well, handsomely. So the capitalistic world runs on this motto, al-waqtu kadhahab. Time is like money. The way you wouldn't throw away money, you should never throw away time. The way you don't burn money, don't burn your time. The way you don't, shred money, don't shred your time. But we as Muslims, we have another whole parable, another whole paradigm, very different. And it's much more powerful. It's called al-waqtu al-hayat. Not al-waqtu kal-hayat, it's al-waqtu al-hayat. Time is life. It's much more valuable than money. Money comes and goes. Money comes and goes. How many had 1,000 and then their account went to 500 or 100 and then went back to 1,000, 2,000, right? And you can add as many numbers as you want. Money comes and goes. Al-malu ghadin wa raih. That's why some of the ulama say that when it comes to kufu, when it comes to marriage, looking for a suitable partner, money should not be considered, because money comes and goes. Today the man is a millionaire, tomorrow he might be a pauper. You're marrying a millionaire, you have no idea. Within days he might end up losing everything. You marry someone who doesn't have much, he may, as they say, struck a gold mine and becomes rich overnight. That's how it is. Money comes and goes. But time is no such thing like that. Once it goes, it doesn't come back. Once it goes, it doesn't come back. That's why for a believer, waqt is not kadhahab. Waqt is not dhahab. Waqt is not gold. It's al-waqtu al-hayat. Waqt, time is life. That's why Hassan Basri said something. He said, Ibn Adam, innama anta ayyam. إذا ذهب يوم ذهب بعضك. O son of Adam, you are nothing but a collection of days. Like we're a collection of cells. We're a collection of limbs and body parts. He says, oh son of Adam, you are a collection of days. So we are sitting here. Some of us are worth 10,000 days. Some of us are worth 15,000 days. Some of us are worth 20,000 days. Some of us are worth 5,000 days. That's who we are. فَإِذَا ذَهَبَ يَوْمٌ ذَهَبَ بَعْضُكَ. When one day of our life goes, a portion of us falls off. So if we have reached half of our life, and we don't know who's reached half life, don't look at the one who's got the white beard. We don't know who's going to last. Some might die at 20, some might die at 15, some might die at 30, some might die at 90. Whenever a day goes by, all of us, a portion of us has fallen off. So some of us have lost maybe a finger. Some have lost a hand. Some have lost an arm. Some have lost the torso and the above, whatever's on top of it. Right? Some have only got a limb left. Some have only got a nail left. We don't know who stands where. إِذَا ذَهَبَ يَوْمٌ ذَهَبَ بَعْضُكَ. Whenever a day goes of your life, a portion of you has gone. So the passing of the days is not supposed to make us happy. It is the, like the sheep following one another, that the Muslim today is celebrating the coming of the new year and celebrating the passing of a one year. What is there to celebrate? It's a time for reflection. It's a time for making intentions. It's a time for remorse of what we have done and thankfulness for what we have been achieved. But you do not thank Allah by fireworks. You don't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by indulging in haram and whatnot. The whole world, including the Muslim world, goes in extravaganza within this past, New Year celebrations. All sorts of things. Those same countries whose economy is suffering, people are dying on the street without food, are spending millions on celebrations. Why is that? Because they have completely lost their compass. Completely lost moral compass, direction in life. But then they don't know everyone else is celebrating, so chala, I'm supposed to celebrate. Traditionally, parents would, our traditional families, we don't celebrate birthdays. And that's what they used to tell us when we were kids, right? Wait, what? My ustad, you say, what is there to celebrate? You've gotten closer to your death by one more year. People don't like to hear that. But the idea is, yes, you can celebrate if you've got something good. But celebrate it in the manner that's pleasing to Allah. That's why when the Ramadan ends, we celebrate through Eid. What do we do on Eid day? Not only do we eat and we drink, but we also pray an extra salah. And we also do extra takbir. And Eid al-Adha comes, we celebrate too, of course. But we sacrifice an animal and we pray Eid. And that's why some of the poets and scholars would say, Eid day comes. He says, I don't know if I should lament or I should receive congratulations. Because I've done ibadah, but I don't even know if it's going to get accepted or not. The real celebration, the real party is going to be, inshallah, in the day of judgment in akhirah. Right? That's where the time is. Till then, we don't know what will happen to us, to our deeds. Whether even those of us who are involved 24/7 in good, what will the ending come? Nabi alayhi salam's du'as, many of them are, many du'as ask the same thing. Ya Allah, save me from, protect me from leaving Islam. Protect me from kufr. Protect me from disbelief. Protect me from hypocrisy. Protect me from turning back on my heels. So many. Allahumma inna na'udhu min al-kufr. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-shakki fi al-haqqi ba'da al-yaqeen. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from having doubt after being given the gift of conviction. Okay? I seek refuge in your doubt after being given the gift of conviction. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you min an narudda ala aqabina, that we turn around on our heels. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min an-nuftana fi dinina. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from being tested in our deen. Right? What else? ربنا لا تزغ قلبي. Oh Allah, do not allow my heart to become crooked. From the Quran, ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا. Oh Allah, do not allow our hearts to go crooked after you've given us guidance. All of these du'as are telling us that it's not over until it's actually over. No matter what type of life a person leads, what counts at the ending. A Sahabi companion is fighting with the Prophet ﷺ in one of the battles. The Prophet ﷺ looks at him and he tells those who are around him, إِنَّهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ. He's going to hellfire. The one companion heard him. He said, what? So he didn't say anything. He began to follow him. He said, I have to see what happens to this guy. He said, the whole day I followed this man. And with such valor and courage, he's defending the Prophet. He's defending the Muslim ranks. He's thinking, what's going on over here? I just heard my Prophet saying that he's going to hellfire. And now I see anything but that. Anyway, the day passes. Eventually he gets injured. And that injury that he sustained was very painful, because of which he could not handle the pain. And so he put the sword on the ground, فَتَحَامَلَ عَلَيْهِ, and he fell over his own sword, committing suicide. This Sahabi comes rushing back to Rasulullah. Rasulullah knows what happened. He knows he went looking. He says, you got your answer? Basically. He says, yes. Then the Prophet ﷺ said something, the gist of which is, إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَعْمَلُ عَمَلَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ فِيمَا يَرَى النَّاسِ وَإِنَّهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ وَإِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيَعْمَلُ عَمَلَ أَهْلِ النَّارِ فِيمَا يَرَى النَّاسِ وَإِنَّهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالْخَوَاتِيمِ أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. That a person sometimes does the deeds of the people of hellfire in the eyes of the people. According to people, this guy is going to hell. He's a fasiq, he's a fajr, he's a horrible person, despicable person. وَإِنَّهُ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ, even though he's been destined to go to paradise. Because something will happen, just you don't see it yet. It will happen before he dies, he'll change. And there's another person who يَعْمَلُ عَمَلَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ فِيمَا يَرَى النَّاسِ. He does the actions of the people of paradise in the eyes of the people. They say, yeah, Jannati, hey, when you go to paradise, please take me in with you. Everyone's asking him for du'as. They think he's really awesome up there. But in the books of Allah, he's destined to hellfire. Then he said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالْخَوَاتِيمِ. What counts is the ending. When it comes to your actions, what counts is the last action, not what happens before that. In basketball, football, any other game, we're not looking at what happens in the first few minutes. We're not looking at the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. We're not looking in the last half of the last quarter. We're looking not even in the last 10 seconds. When the buzzer goes, what happens? That's what counts. If someone makes a touchdown, exactly when the buzzer goes. If someone makes a winning shot, even though the team was trailing the entire 89 minutes. But the last minute, no, the last 10 seconds, they make a winning shot, it's over. You know what happens. They're going to get the trophy. No one will say, come on, give them a break. 95%, 99% of the game, this team was winning. They were trailing. They should get the trophy. No one will listen to you. So, no, what happens is the last second. So that's the same thing for all of us. What we don't know, even if we had a great ending this year, 2019 was beautiful, dini-wise for us, dunya-wise for us, everything was great, but our death is not here yet. What counts is what happens in the last moment. That's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said before the end of times, even A person will go past a graveyard and he will say, يا ليتني كنت مكان صاحب هذا القبر. I wish I could be in place of this man who's dead in the grave. He will wish that. There's nothing wrong with you. Hadith, there's few different meanings, few different ways to explain it. But one of the ways to explain the hadith is that he will have no problems in his dunya. Usually people want to take their life when what? When they have a lot of debts. Or they're involved in a scandal, they don't know how to face their family or the community. They face jail time. So they want to take their life. This man, he's got no problem. Money is great, health is great, everything's fine. Why do you want to be in place of the man who's dead in the grave? The only reason is because he will be worried if he lives another day, he might not be able to retain his iman. Because that's how the world's going to become. The pressure on the Muslims to give up their faith from all ends. The earth is going to start getting constricted. You're seeing things happen within the past month that didn't happen before. You're seeing things that happened in the past week that didn't happen before. You're seeing this year has shown us so many things. This past decade has been crazy. The signs of the hour, if it were to be discussed in 2010, no, all the way up to 2015, 14, all the way up to 2016, 17, it was so much different than what it is now. The signs of the hour are so much more in our face. I've just come back today from Umrah, alhamdulillah. Every time I go for Umrah or Hajj, it's just a reminder of how close the Day of Judgment is. Because so many of the signs that Rasulullah mentions are from Makkah. And you see, literally, one after another, like billboards coming up, the hour is near, it's around the corner. How the changes, the rapid change, not from decade to decade. I'm talking from season, from Hajj to Umrah season, from Umrah to Hajj season, from December to spring, from spring to Hajj, from Ramadan to Hajj. Every 2 to 3 months, the laws that are changing, the effects that are having on the people, the way people are changing. It's crazy. Every aspect of it. Allahu Akbar. Nabi alayhi salatu salam's signs are so in your face right now. Obvious, clear cut. So this is something for us to reflect and not to celebrate. To say, okay, we've achieved something. What have you achieved? If you achieve something, are you sure you're going to take it with you till the end? That's the thing. That's why the real celebration and the real rest is in the grave. The real rest and the time to sleep, my dear brothers and sisters, is where? In the grave. When we get our results, alhamdulillah. How many of us get excited when we write the MCAT or LSAT or whatever big exam, ACTs that you have? How many of you walk out like, yay, I'll win? It's not, you're waiting till the grades come out. You might feel a little relaxed that it's over, but the anxiety that until I get my grades after an interview. How many of us who went for a job interview and are just so excited? No, you're not. You're worried, I'm going to get accepted or not. So the real process is, the real rewards you're going to get afterwards. Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahmatullahi alayh, as he's passing away. Great scholar. The ulama say, the whole ummah is indebted to Abu Bakr Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahullah, for what they did. Abu Bakr Siddiq and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Because Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu stood up at a time when everyone was trying to, the non-Muslims, the hypocrites and the murtads, the apostates, they were trying to shake up the core of Islam. And Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu stood up and said, life is going to move on. The Prophet ﷺ passed away, fine, but we're going to do business. We're going to continue our business. We empty out Medina, send out the expeditions. Are you serious? Rasulullah just passed away? No. We're here to do his work. He's not here, we have to do his work. We're not going to sit here and mourn. If there's anyone who would mourn, who had a right to mourn, it was them. And who would mourn. But they said, no, we have to do work. And when they saw that, the way he controlled himself, the way he controlled Umar radiallahu anhu, who had lost his wits, couldn't believe this is happening. He was so emotional. Who would be more emotional? Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu had a more right to be emotional. He was definitely the closest. But he controlled himself. We cannot imagine if you lost your wife and your kids instantaneously, it would not be as painful for you, no doubt, compared to how painful it was for Abu Bakr to lose Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he didn't just go to work the next day. He put the whole ummah together. And he said, nothing, no one is going to mess around. I'm the Khalifa, this is how it's going to run. We're going to send out the armies. And even if, no matter what happens, even if Medina gets desecrated, I don't care. What Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us to do, he says, send out Anfidhu Jaysha Usama. He says, send out the Jaysh of Usama, the army of Usama, we're going to do it. The way he got everyone together, we're indebted to him. Because if he didn't do what he did that day, some would not be definitely long lasting. And then Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he stood up to the tyrants of the time, the Khalifas of the time, whose aqidah was wrong, who was misleading, forcefully misleading the ummah, and stood up to them and said, I'm not going to cave in. I don't care who caves in. I'm not caving in. And you've heard probably the beautiful story of whenever he would go through trouble, he would always be making dua for an individual. I'm forgetting his name right now. Khuf'am or whatnot. So then he was making dua. Someone asked him, why are you making dua for this person? Can you please, Baba, tell us, Sheikh, tell us, who is this person you keep on making dua for? And he said, well, he is a famous highway robber of Baghdad. So he said, why every time you are going through pain or difficulty, you're always saying, Rahimallahu fulan, may Allah have mercy on so and so. This highway robber you're making dua for. So he said, there's a story behind that. The story is, countless times I was called in and mercilessly whipped for not because of anything wrong, but because he refused to cave in to the incorrect belief that the Quran is a creation of Allah. He said the Quran is not the creation of Allah, it is the spoken word of Allah. It's not something He created, it's not something you can manipulate, it's not something you can burn, it's not something you can change. All you can burn and change and alter is the written form. We're not talking about. The Quran is that which is preserved in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, which was revealed on the Prophet ﷺ. That is not a creation, it's an attribute of speech. This concept, which is probably, if you haven't attended a halaqah on this, you wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. But this is the issue he stood up for. And everyone else caved in. And so they brought him in. They said, just give up. Just change this. We're not telling you to do anything. Just stop saying this. He said, no, I'm not going to give up. So he was brought in to the king's court so many times. And he was whipped. And then let go. And he wouldn't change his position. He said one day, many times they would whip him so much that he would lose conscious. And they don't want to beat them when they're unconscious because it doesn't afflict the pain. So they want to wait till they gain conscious. So one time he was being dragged back from the jail housing place to the king's court, where the jallad, where the executioner would whip them. And people are standing there, rows of people, and he's being dragged in his chains and his fetters to the king. A person came up to me and he whispered, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, don't give up. You gotta stay strong, okay? All eyes are on you. He gave him this motivation. Imagine the 15th, 20th, 30th time you're going through this ordeal. Not questioning. Not being questioned. Where did you come? Why are you here? Secondary questioning. All that stuff. This was much worse. This is unthinkable. None of us have gone through that. May Allah protect us all. The reports are coming from India of this happening to hundreds and hundreds of Muslims all over in UP state. It's very, 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 very scary and sad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them ease through this difficulty, give them peace, and unite the Muslims wherever they may be. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove this crazy fire of hatred, bigotry, and nationalism that is overtaking many people in many parts of the world. So he gave him some advice. He said, stay firm. So he turned around and asked him, who are you? Who are you? He's not his student, he's not his ustad. Random guy comes up and says, don't give up. So then he said, okay, I am Fulan ibn Fulan, I'm so and so, I'm a well-known highway robber. Okay, why are you telling me this? He says, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, I've been caught stealing, stabbing, and whatever else he's done as a highway robber. And I've been brought over here countless times, and I've been whipped, and I've been punished. And as soon as I'm let go, I go back to the same ways. I do the same stuff. I can't get that stuff out of me. And then I get caught, I'm brought here, and I'm beaten. And as soon as they let me go, my sentence is over, I go back to my old ways. All of this torture and this beating and this imprisonment has not forced me to give up what I do, which I know is wrong. And you know, and I know that you're on the truth. Let not the suffering that you are going through make you waver and leave your position. So he said, those words were like, you could say, like God sent at the right time, at the right place. From a person you would never think would give you that piece of advice, a famed highway robber. But he said those words were so powerful, so meaningful, because it was obviously out of sincerity he gave those words. And he said, that's why I always make dua for him. That Ahmad ibn Hanbal is dying. And as he's passing away, again a famous story, he asks he asks his son for water. Son brings water for him. And as he offers him water, he falls into a state of unconsciousness. And then back and forth, back and forth. And he keeps on saying to his son, La ba'du, not yet, not yet. And I don't want water yet, or whatever. So his son waited until until he fully gained his conscience again. And he offered him the water. Then he asked his father, Oh, my father, you kept on saying, not yet, not yet. What were you referring to? Who were you speaking to? Were you speaking to me about the water? But you were going back and forth in state of consciousness, unconscious. What was going on? So the father told the son, Ahmed ibn Hanbal, this great person that I just told you all about, that we're indebted to. So, he tells his son that shaitan had come to me and kept on coming to me. And he was saying, Oh Ahmad, qad futtani, laqad futtani. Oh Ahmad, you have escaped my grasp. You have escaped my snares. You have escaped being deceived by me. He was upset. It's like, I couldn't get you. He's telling Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And Ahmad is telling him, Rahimahumullah rahmatan wasiha, La ba'du, not yet. Until the soul does not actually depart, you still can deceive me. Celebration is after that, when the soul leaves. Even though you led an impeccable life. A life that we are 1,000 years later still speaking about it. A whole Hanbali fiqh is on it, named after him. But look at his last moments. And that's one of the another du'as of Rasulullah ﷺ that's mentioned. All these du'as are in the Hizbul A'zam book that I usually read through. Another dua in there. Allah wa a'udhu bika min an yatakhabbatani ash-shaytanu 'inda al-maut. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from shaitan whispering in my ears and deceiving me at the time of death. I seek refuge in you from shaitan deceiving me and whispering things to me at the time of death. Imam Qurtubi rahmatullah alayhi in his book At-Tazkirah mentions that there will be certain people, certain individuals who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will test them at the last moments. The shaitan will come to them in the form of a loved one who passed away. A mother, a father. Because they're jinns, they can take the shape and form of anyone. This is Iblis, shaitan, coming, well equipped. He will come in the form of a relative, imam, mother, father, someone who passed away and who died with Islam. He will come and say, My dear, you recognize me? And the dying man will look at him and say, Yes, you're my pops, you're my granddad, you're my sheikh, you're my imam of the masjid who died like 5 years ago. What's up? He'll say, Yes, you recognize me. I died on Islam. And Islam is not the true religion. I'm suffering the consequences not right now. I've come back to tell you that you have a few minutes. Please make the right decision and do not follow my footsteps. Please give up and forsake Islam before death overcomes you, otherwise you will suffer my lot. This is what we're seeking refuge in Allah from. Ya Allah, I seek refuge in you from shaitan deceiving me, whispering to me at the time of death. Meaning your faith and my faith has to be so strong that, as they say, your mother comes back to life and tells you something, you're not going to believe it. No matter who tells you what, your own imam in this world comes and tells you crazy things. The one who taught you Quran comes and tells you crazy things. No matter who says what, our iman's got to be so firm, so strong, that the whole world put together will come and tell you something and you have to say no. The whole world will come and say riba is a great way to go. Money increases by putting in a savings account. And you have to say no, it doesn't. The whole world will come and tell you if you give sadaqah and charity and donations, you will become poor. And you have to say no, it doesn't. Your whole community will come and say that go look for a university that's got more prestige. Don't worry about the Islamic environment. Just look for prestige. That will get you a better job, which will get you more risk, which will give you more comfort. And you will say, no, it doesn't. That test is not just at the time of the death. It's a test right now. Because the world is telling us something, and the deen tells us something else. The world tells us something else, the deen will tell us something else. People will tell us if you grow out your beard, you're going to get in trouble. If you come to the masjid too much, you're going to get in trouble. The world tells you to reduce all of that. And your deen tells us, no, at the time of difficulty, don't give up the masjid. At the time of difficulty, don't give up observing Islam openly. That's what's going to be. I mean, your dunya is gone anyway. Why ruin your akhirah? If you can keep firm on the deen, then you're not even losing your dunya. Your loss of the dunya will be written plus for you. Every time you lose a cent, it's been written for you in the akhirah. So this test of who to listen to is not happening at the time of death. It's happening right now. And if we're losing the battle now, what's going to happen at the time of death? That's what it means to keep your faith firm. That no matter who and what, even your mom and dad, your parents, your sons and daughters may say something to you that's against the teachings of Islam, we have to be so firm. We say, no. I stick and I believe with what Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam have said. Dear friends, this is a moment of reflection. As the decade changes, as the year changes, it is a moment of thanking Allah for what we have achieved, and at the same time, asking forgiveness for what we did not do or mistakes we've committed. Where do we move forward after that? We always hope for the best. No matter where we come from. There's one thing we can never do, which is to give up. That doesn't do anyone any service. No matter what a person is involved in, no matter how many years of his life, the biggest crime is to give up hope in Allah. That's something we cannot do. Shaitan will try to do that. He will make you indulge in useless, foolish sins. And then after that make you feel so disgusted with yourself, then to say, what's the point, man? What's the point of my ibadat if I end up doing these sins? So many brothers I know are like this. For example, a person goes out in 3 days in Jamaat, khuruj. A person goes out for Umrah. A person does i'tikaf. He comes back home after a journey. He's tired. He knocks out on his bed. He knocks out on the sofa. He wakes up, it's already Fajr time. He misses Maghrib and Isha. Okay, mistake happened. Bad. But now are you going to say, that's it? No more i'tikaf for me? No more khuruj for me? That's what happened. I met people who said, I don't do this stuff anymore because I came home and missed my salah. That's bad that you missed your salah. But this is worse for you to get up and to get caught up in what shaitan is playing you. That you deprive yourself of all this khair. You could have missed your salah when you come back from work. If you had an extra shift you had to work at work, you come back tired and you miss your salah too. Why are you blaming the work of deen for that? You just have to do a little bit of better time management. And even if you ended up missing it or some other sin you got caught up into, you make tawbah and you move on. You don't deprive yourself from something good that you're doing. So shaitan's tactic is to create within us despondency. And to create within the ummah despondency that I've committed so many sins, there is no hope for me. And people very nonchalantly come up to me and tell me that. Hey brother, how are you, man? What's up? Oh, you don't want to waste your time on me. You don't want to waste my time on you. Okay, you're trying to get sympathy. You're not going to get sympathy by saying things like this from Allah. Because that's offensive to Allah. You're basically saying, I'm ready to go to hell. Really? Are you really ready to go to hell? Let's try it. Why don't we just take you to the little stove right now? Give me your hand. Let's try it for 2 minutes. Don't scream. Let me just put it over the oven for 2 minutes. And the fire of hell is what? 70 times hotter than the fire of dunya. How dare you think you're a lost cause? When you say you're a lost cause, you're basically saying, I'm ready to go. I bet, it's a joke. People think it's like, it's like you feel like bichara. People feel sympathy for me by saying stuff like that. No, that's a worst crime you're doing, is by saying things like that. I can get, there's no place for me in the paradise like me, a dirty person. Humility is one place. Humility has got its own place. Begging from Allah, you could say, Allah, I'm not worthy of paradise. Ya Allah, if I were to be judged based on my actions, I deserve hell. But I'm not asking you for justice, I'm asking you for mercy. And that's fine. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no one can enter paradise through their actions. They said, what about you? He said, not even me. I can't even enter paradise with my actions, except unless Allah enshrouds me with His mercy. So that's for all of us. You can speak to Allah, but don't give up. Don't think of yourself as a lost cause. Don't think that the highest things are not for you. This doesn't get us anywhere. We should have high ambitions. And this is what I want to end on this note, is that we have to have beautiful plans for this upcoming year and this upcoming decade. Great ambitions that we're going to do amazing things. Dear brothers, besides giving up hope, is to be another horrible sin, and I would say something to kind of put a nail in the coffin, is to not be ambitious, to lead a mediocre life. And that's a problem with many of the youth today. They have no fikr, no goals, just sitting on their gadgets, on their consoles, on their video games, day in and day out. If you ask them, what do you want to do? What have you been reading lately? Right? It's just binge watching Netflix, unfortunately, for so many of them. Winter break, has come to an end today. Ask all of them, what have they achieved within this past winter break? A lot could have been done. A lot could have been achieved. And you look at these, TED Talks that focus on this and other things. Some of them are very nice talks. Really, really nice. Some of these actors that come give their, commencement speeches at universities, I've heard a few of them. Really powerful, great stuff. Only thing lacking is Iman. I was like, man, you got everything down except for linking up all this ambition to connecting with Allah. Otherwise, perfect speech, perfect recipe. Right? You got the egg recipe, you got the cake recipe for cake. You've got everything. You got enough salt, you got enough sugar, you got enough eggs in there, you've got all your oil in there, butter. The only thing you're missing is flour. You're not going to be able to make that cake without a flour. Well, that's what it is. Iman is missing in these TED Talks and in these speeches. And so these recipes are great, but they're not, you're missing the main point. If we don't have Allah in our life, we don't have purpose. We don't have a purpose. All today's youth who are leaving the fold of Islam, becoming agnostics and atheists, I think that's the one way. They don't realize that their life is meaningless. At the end of it all, seriously, at the end of it all, why should I suffer? Why do I need to pay 60 or 100,000, 200,000 in tuition for 8, 10, 12 years and have to go through endless quizzes, endless exams, endless stress? For what? To get a job? Then why do I have to sit and raise a family and go through endless suffering to take care of all that stuff? For what? I have to pay taxes for my own hard-earned money. I have to pay fines all the time, all day, all night. I have to take care of all these kids, buy from their diapers, to pay for their shoes, to pay for their college tuition, take care of the needs of the wife. So much stress, and at the end, no God, I just die and go to sleep. End of the day. It's not worth it. I don't want to lead a life like this. For all of this, I'm not going to get paid and rewarded. So if you really look at it, if a person does not believe in meeting Allah, what's the point of this world? All of this suffering that's happening all over the world, you're telling me, how would they all feel if you tell them there's no God? All these Muslims or non-Muslims, whoever is going through difficulty in the world, you tell them, guess what? You suffer, you get electrocuted, you get bombed, you get shelled, and at the end, that's it. Khalas, die. Where's the justice? You're right, there's no justice here. There's another place, Yawm ad-Din. The day of justice is yet to come. So believing in Allah, believing in Islam, that gives us hope. That gives us a meaning in life. The youth need to see that. The young adults need to see that. If you just go try to invite them to the masjid, they might not see it like that. But when you label it out to them to say a life without Islam, a life without Allah in your heart is a pretty darn boring, depressing life. Where are you headed with this? They don't, but shaitan doesn't. Like a man who's high, who's used to drugs. He doesn't understand when he's high that this is harmful. He just won't get it. So, what are you killing? Look at you. Your wife left you. Your kids ditched you. Look at how you're dressed. Look where you're on the street. He doesn't get it. He's like, I'm high. That's all he's looking at. So the one who's high on dunya, intoxicated with dunya, and atheism, he doesn't understand what he's doing is wrong. You have to kind of wait for the right moment. And in a very nice, tactful way, explain to them that this is not a life worth living, the way you're living right now. Bring Islam and Iman back. And then even if you're poor, even if you're a dropout from college, even if your parents ditched you, even if you don't have anything going good for you, you'll still be successful because you have a game plan. Islam gives you a game plan regardless of where your starting point is. And that's the beauty of this faith. That's what I love about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. There's always there's something for us to be consoled by, no matter what the situation is. No matter what the situation is. One of my colleagues' wife just gave birth, unfortunately 5 months, but it's stillbirth. He passed away. He was very, very emotional. So one of my other teachers, colleagues there, he gave him, subhanAllah advice, and he said, there's an incident where a Sahabi asked another Sahabi, he said, same thing, I lost 2 kids of mine. Please let me hear something from the Prophet that will console me at this time. You're losing 2 kids, or you're losing 1 kid, it's a huge thing. They say the heaviest load to carry in this world is the janazah of your child. So then that Sahabi said, yes, I heard the Prophet ﷺ, that the one who loses, the gist of the hadith, the one who loses his kids, 2 kids or 1 kid or 2 kids, that on the day of judgment, this child will argue with Allah. So, Ya Allah, I'm not going to go, because he knows he's going to paradise, he's an innocent child. He's definitely going to Jannah. He'll say, he will hold on to his parents' clothing like this. He says, Ya Allah, I'm not going to go into paradise until I take this parent with me. And Allah says, okay, go. So that is the gift of a person who's lost his kids, that his kids will be waiting to drag him into paradise. Now when you hear something like that, you lost your child, you're crying. But then you think, oh my God, this is Allah's plan. Maybe my own actions wouldn't get me to paradise. But Allah is testing me through this. And if I be patient, then this child will take me to paradise. Wouldn't you feel better? Now if you don't have Rasulullah, you don't have Islam, you don't believe in any of this stuff, what can I tell you to make you feel better? Nothing. That's a useless life. That's a horrible life. Because life is always going to be filled with problems. The thing that guides us through these difficulties, the thing that gives us hope, is our deen. And that's what we need to share, the message, with all of those friends of ours and people in the streets and schools who are distancing themselves from the deen. Tell them how deen gives beautiful hope, gives you a meaning and a mission in life. So let's inshallah plan to make this upcoming year the best. The best. Aim for the stars. Aim to become something great. I have a few quotes I want to share with you. And these are giving an example of how we should lead our life. Imam Ibn Uqayli al-Hanbali, right? He's Hanbali, a student of Imam Ahmed. He says, إِنِّي لَا يَحِلُّ لِي أَنْ أُضَيِّعَ سَاعَةً مِنْ عُمْرِي. I don't regard it halal. I don't regard it halal, permissible, to waste a second of my life. حتى إذا تعطل لساني عن مذاكرة ومناظرة. Until when my tongue gets tired of reading, of teaching, of debating, وبصري عن مطالعة, and my eyes get tired of reading. Then what do? أعملت فكري في حال راحتي وأنا مستطرح. Then while I lay down, tired and beat from a day of studying, debating, teaching and reading, while I lay resting, I begin to use my mind to start thinking. So that even when I am lying down, I'm doing something. Right? We all think. Who doesn't think? You can't freeze your brain. When you're in the shower, you're thinking. When you're brushing your teeth, you're thinking. When you are eating your cereal box, or reading your cereal box while eating your cereal, you're thinking. It's just, what are you thinking about? If you're thinking about something beneficial, then you're getting reward. How can I help my neighbor? Saw his car broke down. He doesn't have another car. What can I do to help him out today? That's reward right there. How can I make my dad's life a little bit easier today? What can I bring for my mom today that'll bring a smile on her face? Are you thinking about things? Or how can I help this brother who I haven't seen in the masjid for so long, man? I got to go and do something about this. All right, there you go. So all of this stuff is, mashallah, you're getting a reward. Another beautiful statement is a very famous poet, Tarafa, rahim. He says, إِذَا الْقَوْمُ قَالُوا مَنْ فَتَى إِذَا الْقَوْمُ قَالُوا مَنْ فَتَى خِلْتُ أَنَّنِي عُنِيتُ فَلَمْ أَكْسَرْ وَلَمْ أَتَبَلَّدِي. He said, whenever the people start speaking, whispering, who's the man of the hour? Who's the young man? Got it? Who's the hero? Whenever they're speaking about the hero, I always think it's me. I always think it's me. Hence, I am not lazy and I don't act like a fool. Okay, so this is a very famous classical poem that people quote. That's the way we're supposed to be. When you say, who's the man? You should be thinking it's me, because I don't for a moment, put my guard down. I'm ready. And then some have said, what is علو الهمة? To have a lofty goal. استصغار ما دون النهاية من معالي الأمور. To regard everything besides the goal as nothing. If I don't get the goal, I'm nothing. I have to get the goal. And until then, you're digging a well, and the water is at 100 feet. You don't sit there clapping once you get to 80, or 70, or 90. Until you don't hit water, you're not going to have water from here. What's the point of resting? Keep on focusing until you get water. Then we can all enjoy water to our home. So our well hitting water is death on La ilaha illallah. Death on the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Until we don't get that, we're not going to be happy. Umar al-Faruq. Let's see what Umar al-Faruq radiallahu anhu says. He says, لا تصغرن همتك. Don't ever belittle your ambitions. Don't ever belittle your ambition. فإني لم أرى أقعد بالرجل من سقوط همتي. Because I haven't seen anything that handicaps a man. I haven't seen anything that handicaps a man more than having low ambitions, having low intentions. So this is something we can all make this intention here. Say, right, by the end of this year, I want to, inshallah, those of us Let's make an intention for Quran. I want to memorize 5 juz of Quran, for example. The adults who are sitting here, all of you can make intention. I know many uncles in my masjid and outside who've come to me. I met in this Umrah, I met a brother from my masjid. He was sitting next to me in Riyadh al-Jannah and he told me, I want you to make some dua. I'm like, well, what's up? He has a very high paying job as an IT professional, mashallah. Really, really business, good, great job. He said, I'm trying to invest some money, put into something and then quit. And I want to do a full 7-year alim course. I said, subhanAllah, his son's next to him. He said, I want you to make this dua. And that's himmah. That's himmah. He's not looking at the fact that he's 38 or 40 or whatnot. He says, money, alhamdulillah, made enough. I'm going to invest it, so then I want to just dedicate to madrasa life. There's nothing wrong with you making that intention. Or you could say, for example, and I gave him different advice actually. I told him I don't think that's the best course for you. There's many other ways, because you're starting from zero when you come on my side of the fence. It's like me saying, you know what, I want to give up what I do and I want to go become a businessman or a doctor or whatnot, so that I can earn some good amount of money and I can do work of deen. That makes no sense for me to do that. I'd rather tell people already have the money to do that. Why give up what I'm doing to go start from ground zero for 10 years and study that, and then start earning money? I said, instead of you coming on this side, why don't you ask Allah, Ya Allah, utilize you for the service of deen in the professional field that you are. You can do so much with the talent. I can't dream of having the talent that you have. You can do all, whether making of apps, building companies, becoming a consultant to Muslim organizations, using your money to support Muslim organizations, all sorts of stuff you can do. Along with learning the Fard Ayn. We all have to learn the Fard Ayn. We all have to take a weekend course, weeknight courses. We have to study the deen. Learn the Arabic language at least so you can understand the meaning of the Quran. Learn 3-4 juz of the Quran. Go through a tafsir of the Quran. Yeah, that stuff we have to do. You don't have to become a 7-year alim program graduate. No. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is intention, himmah. We have to make this himmah. Don't just make himmah for our kids. All of us make himmah for our kids. I want my son to be this, that. We have to make himmah for ourselves. Because every man is going to go into his own grave. No sharing there. Everyone's got their own grave. So each one here should make their own himmah. Whether it's learning the Arabic, as I said. We should all make this himmah, really. Stop leading a life when you don't understand what the Tarawih Imam or Salah Imam is saying. Why? Why you be happy with that? You have to say no to this ignorance. I'm tired of this. I refuse to listen to another khutbah without understanding it. I refuse. You know, when people say, oh, we don't understand the Arabic, speak in English. Oh, okay, I'll do that. But why don't you walk away saying, you know what, that's it. I'm going to learn Arabic. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of not understanding what Allah is telling me directly. We can all make that intention. There's so many online courses. So many in-person classes here. Make that intention. Right? A person can say, I'm going to make a commitment, inshallah, to be punctual for Fajr Salah. Punctual for Isha Salah. I'm going to be punctual at home to read the morning and evening du'as together with my family. I'm going to start halaqah of ta'aleem at my home. Every single day we're going to read about the Prophet ﷺ. We're going to do some seerah games. We're going to have a quiz, right? Seerah quiz, seerah competition at home with prizes. We're going to have a weekly dua goals. Every week we're going to memorize 2 duas, right? And then we're going to give gifts to one another. Come up with something creative. Do whatever you need to. But through the barakah of your kids, please learn yourself. How many moms and dads have educated their kids but know nothing themselves? Unfortunately. So this is something we need to make this year of himmah. Okay, now what all these things I told you is for your own self. If you want to be a really money maker for the akhirah, you have to go a little bit bigger than that. You have to go a little bit bigger than that. And you have to start worrying about others. You have to care about the ummah. You have to care about the ummah. And you have to say, whatever you're passionate about, try to spread that passion to others. And inshallah, I'm going to be there ready to help with my time. If I see anyone sad, depressed, I'm going to share out to them. I'm going to try to give people rides to the masjid. I'm going to help a non-for-profit in the area with my time. All masjids, you're part of the masjid board. Do you need volunteers? Or you don't need volunteers? Okay, we're always suffering. I'm telling you, we run a seminary and a masjid too. We're always suffering. More than money, volunteers. People are not ready to work. We need time. This program took time to set up. And if you had more volunteers, you could have double the crowd. So much work needs to be done. Give your time to the masjid. Tell them, here I am. Tell me what needs to be done. I'm an IT guy. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a business analyst. I'm an accountant. I am what you call anything. I can vacuum the floor. I can scrub the floor. Whatever you need, offer your time to the masjid. Offer your times to your local non-for-profits here. Say, inshallah, every week, right? For example, 2 hours, solid 2 hours a week. Is that too much? Wednesdays, you distribute Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. You're going to give 2 hours to the masjid, 6 to 8 p.m., 10 to whatever time. I'm here. You need me to make phone calls? I'll do that. As it is, I'm here with my time. You say there's not enough programs. People come say, oh, masjid doesn't have this. Okay, why don't you start it? You go ahead and start it. You want to bring an expert, you want to get the funding for it, do anything you want. But give your time. When you start giving time and fikr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will start giving you answers. Allah will start inspiring you with answers and solutions. So what I'm telling you, don't focus just on yourself. If you want to make it big, you have to focus on the ummah. And that's when the great rewards will come. When you love the ummah, care for the ummah, make dua for the ummah, your rewards inshallah will become great. Dear brothers and sisters, mediocrity, throw it out of your dictionary. Throw it out of your vocab. Let's all be ambitious. We don't need the whole masjid to change this area. These 20 people sitting here, we can change it. We can bring a massive change. Founding fathers of this masjid or any other, how many are there? Not hundreds. 3, 4, 2 brothers. They're the ones who put the seeds, and today, mashallah, we see it's flourishing. Every place is like that. Starts off by a few, and then it moves forward. So we have got many days have gone, 20, 30 years, we've lost our limbs, lost our hands, we've lost our feet, right? We are living on we don't know how much time. If we die after making an intention, Allah will give us a reward, even if we're not able to fulfill that. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us to lead the remainder of our lives better than what we have spent. Accept the good that we did in the past and overlook the weaknesses of the past. Accept it, and then allow us, inshallah, to be inspired by Quran and Hadith. Allow us to be able to inspire others. And I would like to invite you, because I spoke last in Ramadan here, and I don't know if I'm coming back to New York until Ramadan. So I would like to invite you, brothers and sisters and adults, to our next program that's going to be taking place in Chicago at Darul Salam Seminary, which will be the April 10th retreat. Some of you have been to the retreat last year or the years before. So April 10th is the annual retreat, and inshallah, I ask all of you to make khas dua. This year we are trying to have the seminary building open by then, which is a very, very ambitious, talking about ambition, it's very ambitious. It basically would mean that the entire 65,000 square foot building would be done with less than 2 years. And so it's a massive, mammoth project, but we're trying to get it done by April 10th for the retreat. So please keep the seminary in your du'as, that Allah opens up the ways and the construction team is able to get everything done. But the retreat will start Asr or Maghrib on Friday, and it will end before Asr on Sunday. That's the weekend of April 10th. The details on our website, masjidds.org, masjidds or darussalam.org. You can follow on Facebook or Twitter too, Masjid DS. And the topics and the titles will be posted up there soon. Plan your tickets from now. Tickets are $180 a round trip if you buy now. If you wait last minute, like some brothers do, then they end up paying $600, $700. Or they say we're going to drive, and then they end up not driving, and then they say, oh, sorry, we couldn't make it because it's too expensive. So that's improper planning. Right? That's the whole point. Why do we have to be so kam himma, low? You plan out the whole year. The people of the dunya are planning it out. Why are the people of the deen not planning out things? We've got to plan things out. So who's planning to come this weekend, this year, April? Raise your hand. Raise your hand high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Alhamdulillah. So that's 12 people. We better see, these 12 are not going to come 12. You make this at least 24. This Hamza, oh my God, been coming here more to any masjid in Long Island, New York, New Jersey, than any other masjid. Right? It's been over almost 15 years. We have to see good representation. You make intention of 25. Okay? 25 from this masjid. Bring sisters, bring adults, bring youngsters, whoever. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, I want to give you the karguzari of our winter intensive. Walillahi alhamd. We had 650 students from 20 states during the Christmas holidays, December 21 to 25. It lasted for 5 days. And we covered tons of topics: fiqh of marriage and divorce, atheism, evolution, fiqh of love, and then Islamic emotional, spiritual, and mental wellness. Then we had a separate youth program. We had coming of age, we had gender interaction, we had makeup, etc. for the different classes. So it was 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And alhamdulillah, the thing is just to see the tears in the brothers' eyes as they left, and even now the continuous messages I'm receiving of people who were so inspired. What is our job? Our job, how much can you teach in 5 days? It's great, but still not the end. Our job is to inspire people to go back and do something great. So we had like 20 from Arizona, from Phoenix come, 20 from Austin come, 20 from Dallas come, like 30 from Michigan. And each place where we're saying that mashallah got inspired, now go back and do something with your local scholars. So if we had 25 from this area come, you'll come back pumped up and you can start doing, obviously, things, continue doing whatever you're doing, take it to the next step over here, inshallah. So my goal is to, that's why, inspire people. Because there's only so much I can do in 24 hours. But if I can get 25 people, as one Maulana said, he said, my friend, he gives everyone targheeb to do salatul tasbih and then goes to sleep himself. He gives everyone else. So no go to sleep. Raise your salatul tasbih also. But inspire at least another 10, 20 people to do salatul tasbih so you get the reward for it. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم انت السلام ولك السلام وبارك يا ذا الجلال والاكرام اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك انك كما اثنيت على نفسك اله العالمين اله العالمين يا حي قيوم يا حي قيوم برحمتك نستغيث اصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا الى انفسنا طرفة عين. Oh Allah, oh Allah, oh Allah, we ask you to accept this gathering. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, whatever was said, if it was beneficial, it was from you. Whatever mistakes were made, it was from our own nafs. Oh Allah, whatever beneficial things were shared, allow us to practice on it ourselves. Oh Allah, the speaker is more in need than anyone else. Ya Allah, allow us to have lofty ambitions. Allow us to, Ya Allah, aim to be in the company of the Sahaba. Oh Allah, allow us to be aim to be in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, please, Ya Allah, grant us very lofty ambitions, Ya Allah, to preserve and practice and propagate deen, to bring peace to the world, to bring khair and barakah to the world, to introduce deen to those who are not introduced to it, to help those who have left and who are leaving to come back to the deen. Ya Allah, all those whose marriages are suffering, oh Allah, please preserve their marriages. Ya Allah, preserve their marriages. Those who are not married and of marriageable age, grant them the best pious spouses. Those who do not have children, grant them righteous children. Oh Allah, those who have children, make them healthy, make them righteous, make them upright. Oh Allah, we ask you, Allah, preserve us and preserve our youth and our adults from leaving the fold of Islam. Preserve us from having doubts in our faith. Preserve us from falling into any and all major sins. Ya Allah, we ask you to help, Ya Allah, protect the ummah all over the world that are suffering. Oh Allah, they are being tested. Oh Allah, please, Ya Allah, do not make these tests a means of them losing their iman. Oh Allah, do not make these tests a means of them losing their iman. Oh Allah, protect their wealth, protect their honor, protect their women, protect their children, protect their homes, protect their masajid, protect their madaris, protect their dini institutions. Ya Allah, remove the hatred that others have for us. Or remove the malice. Oh Allah, most definitely we have not done anything to earn your mercy. Oh Allah, we seek forgiveness from all of those sins which have brought down your wrath upon the ummah. Ya Allah, we seek forgiveness from you on behalf of the entire ummah, on behalf of ourselves, for those sins which have caused you to become angry with us. Ya Allah, none can get us out of this mess except for you. Ya Allah, please allow us to see your help. Ya Allah, allow us to bring down your hidden help. Ya Allah, bring your ghaibi madad and nasrah. Oh Allah, no one knows your army except for yourself. Oh Allah, allow your army to protect the ummah, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, please allow the others to accept Islam. Allow them to see the beauty of deen. If deen is not meant for them, then remove them, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, we ask you, Ya Allah, allow the Rasul sunnah to flourish in our lives. Oh Allah, allow every one of us to bring sunnah in our life. Allow this year to become a year of revival of sunnah. Allow the sunnah of miswak. Allow the sunnah of salam. Allow the sunnah of waking up at night. Allow the sunnah of doing proper, nice wudu. Allow the sunnah of making ikram of our fellow neighbors and parents. Oh Allah, allow all these sunnah, no matter what it's related to, allow us to bring the sunnah in our lives. Allow us the sunnah of tasbihat after salah, sunnah after dua after salah. Oh Allah, allow us to bring that into our life. Ya Allah, allow the children to be able to respect their parents. Allow us all to genuinely care and respect our parents and earn our Jannah by honoring them. Allah, allow the parents and all of us parents to be able to truly fulfill the rights of our kids and give them the proper tarbiyah. Give them all that they need, Ya Allah. Allah, whatever permissible desires and needs we all have, Ya Allah, fulfill them. Allah, the brothers have made intentions to come to the retreat. Allah, you accept them. Facilitate for them. Allah, allow a very large jama'ah, the largest jama'ah from this community, from this masjid, to come and get inspired and benefit from the retreat and allow them to come back and do great work in this community. Allah, reward this community, preserve and protect the founders, the imams, the donors, the patrons, the musallis of this masjid, the families of this masjid. Allah, whatever needs this masjid has, fulfill them from your infinite treasures. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.